What's up, everybody? So today's fly is a fly called the Poundmeister, and this is another Taylor Streit fly. He showed me this fly years ago, and it is a super effective fly anywhere there's crane fly larva, and really anywhere that you need a big nymph as a searching pattern. I'm going to show you the way I tie it, which is pretty similar to his version. Um, I'm going to use gray chenille for this. In his original version, he takes gray chenille and he overwraps it with beaver dubbing, and you can actually tie the whole thing with muskrat or beaver, and it works pretty well. But most of the ones that I do now anymore, I just use the straight gray chenille. Now, the interesting thing about this fly is you're going to kind of tie in a bunch of stuff at the back of it, and then you'll see what happens with all of that towards the end of the fly. So it's pretty unique, I think, in how it's tied. So I'm going to tie this on a Tiemco 2457, which is a large, in this size, this is a size 6. It's a curved scud hook, super heavy duty wire. We fish it a lot on some big water that have big pocket water where the fish can really get after it, and we want this to be a stout hook. It's got a bunch of turns of lead and gold bead up front. I play around with different types of weighting. Sometimes I use tungsten, sometimes I'll use a lot more lead, sometimes I'll use less if I want it to be a more shallow running fly. So I'm going to start off by tying in the back of this fly, and it is a peacock herl. Can't go wrong with peacock herl. Anytime you tie a fly with peacock herl, you are putting the odds in your favor. So I'm going to tie in about, that's probably 8 strands of peacock herl. I'm then going to take a couple pieces of olive or peacock crystal flash and tie that in right next to the peacock herl. And then I am going to take a piece of gold wire and tie that in right next to the peacock herl. So we're tying in a bunch of materials all together here at the back of the fly. So we have peacock herl, crystal flash, and a gold wire. I'm then going to tie in a dun. This is actually a rusty dun, I think. A dun color saddle, or this is a dry fly hackle, but it's pretty big. I think this is a size, this would probably be like a size 12, 10, 8. It's a pretty large hackle. I trim the barbs on the side to give the thread something to grab hold of. And last but not least, I'm going to tie in a piece of gray chenille. I actually strip the fibers off the chenille and tie in just the thread, and then it is ready to go. So here's what makes this fly interesting. Everything is tied in all at the back, and then you work everything up to the front, and then you finish it off with a little head, and it's done. So we're going to start off with the bottommost material, which is the chenille, and I'm just going to wrap that up the hook. I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch behind the bead. That's where the head's going to go. That's where everything's going to get tied off. I tie off my chenille. Part 1 is done. Now I'm going to take this dun colored hackle and wrap over the chenille. Now in Taylor's original design, you would coat that chenille with some beaver as some dubbing on top. I really have found that's not necessary, and I'm not sure if he does that anymore, if they're tying them that way still. Okay, so we just wrapped the dun hackle. Notice it's kind of oversized. It's designed for movement. It's designed to kind of create a little bit more of a slower fall rate. It does a lot of interesting things. So next, we're going to take this peacock herl and crystal flash. I'm going to give it a twist just to kind of lock everything together, and I'm going to pull it over the top of this fly, over all that hackle, and I'm going to tie that in right on the back. So we've just created a nice durable back. The peacock herl is not going to separate because we have it twisted in with the crystal flash. And then to make it even more durable, we're going to take this gold wire and we are going to wrap it in between the hackle and the peacock herl and just kind of trap everything in so that it doesn't come undone on us too easily. So that is the fly. And now we're going to put a little head on it. Now you can do a lot of different things for a head. For a long time I was using peacock herl ice dub to give it a little bit more flash. But for this one, I'm going to stick a little bit more traditional, and I'm going to take the same peacock herl that I used for the back, and I'm going to tie that back in, and then we'll give it a twist, and we'll wrap it for the head. And that is it. Super effective fly. Caught a ton of fish on it. Really like this fly. I like the design of it too. Really creative way to design, kind of a little bit of a woolly booger, a little bit of a caddis kind of thing, but it matches the crane fly larva really well. There it is, the Poundmeister Taylor Streit fly. Give it a try. It works.